So today I want to make this whole tutorial about vibe coding with Cloud Code and BYQ MCP. So many of you asked how to even do that, how to use Cloud Code with BYQ MCP. And personally, I feel like there is so much content on the internet that really hypes it, but nobody actually shows how to do things. And personally, coding with BYQ MCP has been a game changer, because we have access to all of our beautiful sections, so you can access them directly from your cloud and develop with them. So comparing to Webflow, you don't have this whole barrier of learning Webflow and its limitations and all the updates. You literally just talk with cloud and do the same things, but in a more human language, so in a conversational language. So this tutorial is for true beginners. There's a lot of designers that know Figma, maybe know a little bit of Webflow, but the whole vibe coding world is super scary for them, so they don't even bother trying. And here I will just show you that it's not so scary and the things you can create. So in this tutorial, I divided it in 4 parts. So we'll install Cloud Code and BYQ MCP. Then I will show you the first setup for the project, a minimal setup. And then we'll do the whole vibe coding part. So we'll create some cool looking landing page. And after that, we'll publish so you can share it with your clients. So starting with installing Cloud Code. So what you want to do for that is go to this URL. And here are the instructions. So for our MCP to work, you will need to install firstly Cloud Code in your terminal. And I guess that's the technical part that people get scared. So I will just literally copy that command here. And then I will click Command and space and open the terminal. So this is our terminal. And here I will just paste this command. I will click Enter. And that will start installing Cloud Code through terminal on your computer. So even though it looks very technical, that's pretty much all you need to do. So after maybe a couple minutes, now I can see that Cloud Code is successfully installed. I actually already had Cloud Code installed, so it might look a bit different for you. But here it tells me next run Cloud Help to get started. So that will also confirm if you get something like this, like a set of instructions, it will confirm that Cloud Code is indeed installed. If it's your first time looking at the instructions, you'll need to authenticate. So you will need to log in, long story short, to your cloud. So you can copy this command. And here it will ask you some questions. So here I will just click Enter. I trust this folder. You will need to allow it access to some of the folders. And that's already enough. Whenever you have questions or you're not sure if something went through, literally what I do is I open my cloud chat and I will just copy the whole terminal, just paste it here, and I will just ask, is my Cloud Code installed? And whenever there is any issues, Cloud will tell you what to do. Maybe he will give you some commands, so just go ahead and do that. So for now, I close the terminal. So that's a step 1, that's installing Cloud Code. You just need to do that once and then you will have it forever. And another step is installing BYQ MCP. So for that, I will go to BYQ website and I will go to our MCP page. And here you need to generate a key and reveal the snippet. So we get this command, and similarly, I will just copy it. I will open our terminal and I will paste it here, hit enter. So I believe it should be installed, but let's ask Cloud again. So it is installed. Cloud just flagged that it only has access to one user folder and we want it to be available everywhere. So I will go ahead and copy that prompt here, hit enter. And now we will also run this command to make sure. So that will give me a list of all MCPs I have installed for my cloud. So we will see here the BYQ supply at the bottom, and it's connected. I will just do a last check and just ask Cloud. Is my BYQ MCP user connected and has access everywhere? Okay, so that's it. Very often when we install MCP, it's a good thing to restart Cloud. So I will just quit my Cloud and open it again because sometimes it just doesn't have access before restarting. So that was literally part one. So installing Cloud Code and BYQ MCP. And now I will show you a general setup for my project, the part two. So for my project, what I want to do is have some information about the website I will be working on. So for that tutorial, I will be working on a brand called Pomar. And inside the folder, I have three folders. So one is information. So this is just a markdown file of all the information about this business. So Pomar started in this year, what it does, the people, ideology, contact details, and so on. I generated it with Cloud for the purpose of this tutorial. You could also just, get all the information from your client and ask Cloud to prepare you such a markdown file. And you just put it in that folder. Then I have my images. So for that website, it's about farming. So I have this set of images. Here, we need to credit where the credit is due. So I got the images from this amazing library called rkey.ai. So I didn't generate them myself. It's a stock, it's a paid one, but it's really amazing. So I just wanted to credit them. And I also have my team images. I got them from Lumi, extra for free. And then I also did a quick logo in Figma, just exported this as SVG. So that's it. That's all I have for the setup of my project. And then I can get in Cloud Code and start designing and developing, you name it. So for that, instead of being in the chat, I'll switch to code and I will start new session. And here, what you want to make sure is that you are working in a correct folder. So here I have some folders selected, but for that project, I will be working in my Pomar folder. So I will go ahead and find it and I will select. So now you can see we are in the Pomar folder. And the first thing before we start any pipe coding, I want to make sure do you have access to BYQ MCP here. So he does have access to BYQ Supply MCP. If he doesn't see it, it's possible either you need to restart Cloud after you install the BYQ MCP, or the MCP is installed but doesn't have access to this folder. So then you can just ask Cloud to make it work. You can just ask him, please make sure I have access to BYQ MCP in this project. And he actually told us what he can do. So he can get all of our components and all of our wireframes and search for our styles. So what it means is that now Cloud has access to all of these 2,200 plus sections that are on BYQ. So we can pull any of them and develop it for us. And same goes for our wireframes collection. We'll not be using this in this project. And most importantly, he has access to all of our styles. So these styles come from our templates. And if you go to some of them, you will see that they sort of combine all these design system into understandable language for AI. So here we have like this design MP file, and that includes, all the sizes for typography, for spacing, breakpoints, do's and don'ts, colors. So for AI, that means I know what is design style of this template. You will just know how to continue. So coming back to our Cloud Code, now there's many ways I could approach it. So I could look for some design style myself and tell him I will be developing a website in that specific style. But because we have a nice setup, what I actually want to do is ask him to do these things for me. And what I like to do is just get on the microphone and start talking and explain everything for him. So I will do that now. Hey, Cloud Code. So I'm developing a website for my client called Omar. In the folder that you have access to, I included all important information. So in the information folder, there's a markdown file with all the information about the business that you need. And in the images, I included images from our client, and also a team images. And I also included a SVG format file for our logo. So I would like for you to analyze all of this information carefully and get a really good understanding about this business. And once you do that, I would like to find a style from BYQ that will fit this client. After we find a correct style, I will want to develop a homepage, but let's start with getting the style. Okay, so I just sent it to him. So as you can see, I'm starting with finding a correct style. So he will have a look at all of these styles we have, and he will find that closely resembles the idea for this project. Just to be clear, at this point, I just want something that fits this project as much as possible, but I'm not closed in any way to that style, meaning like I will be able to change anything I want, whether it's a font or a background color, but I still want him to set up the project with this style because it just prevents AI slop. It gives him all the instructions on spacing, colors, contrast. And if I were just to start designing without this style, we would get a lot of weird things happening, and this gives him a structure and consistency that very often AI struggles with. So here I can see he's understanding the business, looking at the images. So then he has a strong understanding of the business. And then he reviews design systems. So that's the MCP in action. So he accesses our design systems and is looking for a good one. So here he found some design systems that he thought will be good, but then he decided this one is probably not a good call. This one is also not a good call, but he thinks these two could work. So now it's pretty much my decision. So he chose Franco, so that's the one we have open here. So now it's my decision, it's my design choice, or he also chose Superior Space, sorry. So I'll also have a look at this one. They're quite similar. So now it's my decision to decide what feels more like my brand. Personally, I did like Franco, so I'll just go ahead and go with Franco. So if, for example, that business we're doing is about farming, it's very calm, trustworthy, so it fits here. If you are building maybe an agency website or some startup, like he would suggest you completely different styles. So now he did pick up this style and he will write everything for this design system in our project. So if I go back to our folder that we started with, I will see that he's adding things in here. So he added the design, so he added some CSS. Yeah, so he did finish. So now he's asking us some next steps about the tech stack. So we can just go with his recommendation. So I will just tell, for one, let's go with your recommendation. And for the section order, let's start with designing a homepage. I like the sections order you suggested. So if you could please create the whole homepage using this section order. And if you believe we need some more sections, feel free to add them and design it in the Franco style. But feel free to also use mix and match sections from other BYQ collections. So that's it. So right now I literally ask him to design the whole homepage using all information he has about the business. And he has a lot. Of course, I could approach it differently. So I could even go more step by step. So I would say, I would maybe go to other sections. Can you design this section in our style for our business? I'll just give him one section. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm not gonna do that. I will just let him cook. But there is really, you can still have these design parts. So you could even, copy these sections to Figma, play with them, come up with some order, and then let him, give him information on to develop it. So there can be still a lot of this design part. It really depends on you. So here he gathered that he will do a full homepage, Franco style, mix different sections. So now he will do an initial setup. So probably if I go here, you see a bunch of new things appearing here. So now he's ending the build. Took him quite some time because it's the first big page we are doing. So he had to write a lot of things. Another cool thing, exactly, that he's doing, he will launch the local server. So he will, long story, launch the website and make screenshots and make sure everything works. He will even test mobile views. So that's super cool. So let's see how he does it. So like, for example, the button here, clearly something went wrong with the color text. So he noticed it right away. He fixed it before I even told him. And he will do that for the whole website. So now he's scrolling, making screenshots. Yeah, so now he checked all the desktop version, and now he's also checking a mobile. Yeah, so now he finished, and he launched it on our local host. So I do see it in my preview here in Cloud Code, but I can also just open this link in my browser and it will also work. So that's what he did. And as you can see, it is definitely not AI slop. There is some mistakes here and there. Now I will show you how to improve it, but why it worked. Firstly, he used a design system from BYQ MCP. So he already had a good design style in mind. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that he had access to all of these sections. So all the sections that come here, that are visible here, are coming from our collection. So somebody, a human, actually did, spend time designing these sections, checking the spacing and so on. And so they don't just come from the air. They're real human-made designs. And now we have it. We could already launch it, but the cool part, interesting part is then working on it. And here you can, here it's your creativity. And I highly suggest working with BYQ collections to improve it. So for example, I like this section, so I can just copy link to it, and then I can go to Cloud and I will use this select tool. And I will just select this section. You can see now it's selected here. And I will say, instead of this section or what guides us, can we please use this one? So I think the beginning is great. It's very solid, but here I'm just not a fan of this design here. So now he will pull the section I gave to him. So it's that one. And he will get rid of this one and redo it in the style of the one we got from BYQ. So here again, we have the BYQ MCP in action. So a cool thing is that this section comes from different collection from Halden Miller, but he will recreate it in the style of Franco. So we are sticking fully with that style we chose at the beginning. So now he's even checking if the stacking effect works well. We'll also check mobile. I see something is maybe not correct here. He's already fixing it. Yeah, so now if I go back and I will refresh it, it will already have this section. Super cool. Yeah, so at this point, you're vibe coding, you can change things. So for example, here I don't really love that we have like this three grid column one after another. So I could look for another section. Maybe last thing I want to fix is I don't like how these images are cut out here. I will actually just go ahead and ask him. And I will just say I don't like. So just ask him to fix these things. So I ask him about these images and these lines. And yeah, what's cool is I didn't touch a single copy, or all of it was in that initial setup in the information we gave him. It already is very much ready to be live, and it took us just less than an hour. Okay. So that's for the vibe coding part, and we could make it as beautiful or as simple, as complicated as we want. But let's say we're already really happy with that site. And the next step in our tutorial, so we did the vibe coding, and the next one is the publishing. And that's also the technical part that people, I guess, with Webflow or Framer, is a one-click publish. And I'm sure at some point there will be some solutions to make it even easier. For now, personally, I think the best is to use two websites for it. So one is GitHub, and one is Cloudfare. So we'll need to make accounts on these two platforms. And we'll start with GitHub. So I made my account on GitHub. And what you need to do here now is create a new repository. So I'll create a new repository. I will not just call it Omar Vibe Code. And I will just create it. And then I will go and I will ask here, and I will say I want to add our Omar folder as a GitHub repository. So what GitHub does, it will sort of store all of your files in the cloud. Well, it's a very simple way to put it. But in a simple beginner way, it will just make sure your files are out there. So later we can connect domain to them and build them or publish them to make it simpler online. So as you can see, I could have done it in the terminal, but I'm just actually asking Claude Code to do that for me. So he can also run things in the terminal. It's up to you. If you're more technical, you can do it yourself. If not, we can ask him. He will burn some tokens doing that. So the decision is yours. So if you didn't use GitHub before, you will firstly need to install it through the terminal. You could also just ask Cloud to help you with that or check some tutorials online. But long story short, it will look similar to installing Cloud Code. So you will run some commands, you will authenticate, and then you will just have it installed on your computer. I already had it installed, so he didn't need to do that part. He told me he has successfully pushed. So what it means is he pushed all of this Omar folder I had on my desktop to the GitHub, to the online repository. So now if I go back to GitHub and I refresh this website, I will see all of these files that we have. So it's the same what I have here on my desktop, what we started with, and what he built is now here online in this repository. So that's the first part of getting your site published. And another one, so that's by the way free. And then another part is you need to build it. So for that, I will make an account on Cloudflare and go to workers and pages, and I will click create application, and I will say connect GitHub, and I will just ask him to connect to this repository. So we have our repository we just connected, Omar Vibe Code. I will say install and authorize. So now I can just click continue with GitHub. Here again, I will reselect that repository. Yeah, next. So I'll just click deploy. So now Cloudflare is going straight into building that application. So long story short, he's just publishing it. So let's wait for him to do that. So he has access to our GitHub repository. So he has access to all of these website files we just did with Claude Code. You can see he's building. We have like a status log. Again, might be scary, but like you don't really need to worry about these things. So now he's deploying it. We're almost there. So as you can see, once you have the correct setup, and once you did it, you installed all of the GitHubs and Cloud Codes and BYQ MCP. It can be as simple as one-click publish, same as you do in Webflow. Okay, so our build failed, but that's no worries. So I will just copy that and go back to our Cloud Code. Say I try to build it in Cloudfare. Please fix. That's it. Okay, so I actually had some little issue, but I fixed it. So you can always troubleshoot with Cloud and just ask him what's wrong, and he will help you. For me, I just had to change a build command here, a small thing. So now it's deployed, it's for free, and the same way it's with Webflow or Framer, I have my little subdomain. So I can just go here and check the website with it. I think that's pretty sick. And a cool thing is now that you have all of this set up, you can just work on it. So for example, I could just send this link to the client, ask for feedback. Now I can do some changes here. So I can say, for example, in hero section, add trusted by 10,000 plus customers with avatars. So we can work on the website. So let's say this was a request done by a client. So I can just quickly do that. So he added this thing. Now I can say, please push to GitHub. And a really cool thing that happens now is that the second I ask him to push to GitHub, we will notice in our Cloudfare. So Cloudfare already recognized that there was a new push done on GitHub, and he's already building it. So I can just see the status of the build. So funny enough, I didn't even need to hit publish. I just said to Cloud, hey, push it live. And he did it. And now he's building the app. So that's all happening in the background. I don't even need to have my Cloudflare open for that. So now he published it, and I can already see that fix here. Yeah, so that way you can keep on improving. You can, just do the things in Cloud Code, ask it to push it to GitHub, and just tell clients to check it. Cool. And a really cool thing is here I click the remote control. And if I go to Cloud Code on my iPhone, I have the full access to this. So I can even be on the beach, and the client could just ask me, hey, can we change heading to something else? I will just ask him, change heading in hero section to your farming supply. And now he's doing that remotely. So how crazy is that like I can be in maybe situations that I don't have my computer, and I can just run these things remotely, and you see it did change this heading. So now he's doing all the things, and now I could just ask him, please push to GitHub. So now I'm doing all of that from the position of my phone, and we will see that now here in a second it should start building. So it's building that thing. So from my phone I was able to edit the site, and it's already been published. So now in a second after the build is complete, we'll see the changes live. And of course later you could connect your own domain, whatever that is, and here you go. So that's definitely not possible in Webflow, and that's also a really cool part. You can take your work a bit more remote. Sometimes you just need some small changes, and here you can do that. So now he will just deploy it on the main domain. So I see it's already a success. So I believe if now we update our website, here we go. So I did all of that from the position of my phone. How crazy is that? So yeah, to sum up, we installed Cloud Code, we installed BYQ MCP, we created a pretty cool website that doesn't look like AI slop. Like that's, in my opinion, a really high quality website that, could be a face of some business. Of course, that was just a first iteration. We could make it even more sick, make it more usable, connect payments. So it's pretty cool that with Cloud Code, you can do quite complicated things without knowing too much. So I could connect payments or forms. We could, of course, add CMS here. And it doesn't involve us researching so much or installing any plugins. Like I could literally add payments now just talking to my phone. So that's just the beginning. It's a basic thing with it, and you can make really crazy things and combining, even different MCPs from some AI generation. Yeah, you could go as crazy as you want. But anyways, I hope all of you enjoyed it, especially that we covered the whole setup. So now we have it published. It can be actually used as a real website, not just a random cloud build that nobody knows what to do with. Yeah, so now would really love for you guys to check BYQ, explore everything that's here, check our community. We're really growing, and yeah, it's pretty incredible to see what you guys are building in Webflow, in Figma, with vibe coding. The future is here. All right, cheers. For me, it's weekend, so I will go to the beach and design my website there. Yeah, and wish everybody good luck. Cheers.